Hi Leo, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the first week of October. We're going up to from the 1st to about the 6th or 7th. So I did, I'm going to put a link, I'm going to put a card link in the video for the new moon energy, new moon in Libra, that I did a video on. I went into a lot more detail with the astrology. There's too much going on to cover it in the beginning of the tarot readings the way I normally do. I'm still going to be working in the astrology, but there's just so much going on. So definitely check that out if you want more detailed information about what's going on. October is a big energy. Definitely fork in the road energy, right? A lot of us are feeling that. But for you, Leo, it's all about your third house. It's like a lot is going on in the third house. You have the sun, you have the moon, you have Mars, you have Mercury retrograde. You have all of this energy, and it's quincunxing in conjunct Uranus in your 10th house. So it's like this energy between your third house and your 10th house, communicating about your long-term plans. So let's get into things and see the different ways that it can end up impacting you. So the first spread that I'm going to be pulling is a Celtic Cross General. So we'll apply this to all the different areas of your life, and then I'll pull a separate one at the end for relationship. Okay. See those. Okey-dokey. Alrighty. So, coming into this, we have the Page of Pentacles. Page indicates a new cycle. Pentacles can mean money. So, for some of you, focusing on your money, building your money, a new cycle having to do with your money, a new job. A lot of you are very focused on this. Now, that makes sense to me because of all of this energy that's going on in your third house. So, not only are you having this new moon, and this new moon, remember to set those intentions when it comes to particularly any sort of third house situations, you learning something new, something to do with short distance travel, something to do with siblings, extended family, any mode of communication, hoping the communication comes in, hoping that some sort of situation that you're negotiating finalizes, anything like that. So, but the thing is with this Libra new moon in the third, why is it's powerful for so many reasons that I had to make a separate video, but this week we have a lot going on with, I just want to break it down before we get into this, because I think it's very relevant. The moon is going to be combust, right? With the sun, the moon is so close to the sun that it's almost having a weakening element. And that's not such a bad thing, actually, because the moon can often bring us into a space of feeling a crisis of faith, very emotionally vulnerable, very confused, very disappointed, very like, is this all worth it kind of energy. And that's actually going to be kind of tempered because of how close it's going to be to the sun, which is good. At the same time, now I'm going just taking this week as one single chunk. We have Mars is going to be Cazimi. And for those of you that don't know what it is, it's like, think about Mars sort of sitting in the pocket of the sun. So this is very, very beneficial. But how is it going to manifest for you guys in that third house is you're going to be feeling very motivated, very like, remember, Mars is very, I want to be heard, I matter, this is what I want. Not in a selfish way, but in a way where you're exercising control over your own life. And you're recognizing what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And the fact that you have all this energy going on in the third house, which is the home of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde, it can be a little frustrating for a lot of Leos because you're going to know in your mind's eye what it is that you want to communicate, what it is that you want to put forth, what it is that you want. But don't be surprised if something is either lost in translation, or if you feel like you're feeling like you're not being heard in the way or understood in the way that you would really like, or that communication is not as effective as you would really like, right? And also, again, the fact that you have Mercury in the third house, which is a Mercury house, and it is retrograde. Just keep this in mind, right? Because there is a lot of other energy that's inflecting this. So be super, super careful, Leo. Please, when you're driving, using any sort of equipment, any sort of machinery, anything with your technology. If your technology wigs out, don't try to fix it yourself. Send it out. I mentioned that in the astrology video. So that's just sort of like a little aside. But what's good is you're going to be feeling very super, super amped up to push your life forward. Now, this tension, this quincunx that you're experiencing with your 10th house, a lot of you are going to be very motivated to learn something new to push your career forward, very motivated to communicate or adopt some sort of situation that's going to actually impact your long-term goals. A lot of you are going to be, but it's this tension. You understand, like the quincunx is this tension between that third house of communication, siblings, your neighborhood, where you're at, learning anything new, and this tension with that 10th house, which again represents your long-term goals, your career, your public reputation, your standing in the world. So some Leos may actually be having a lot of tension in the marriage. This tension where it's like, I don't even know if I want to be in this anymore because I don't know if this is actually going to end up bringing me where I want to go. And it's more of a very healthy recognition, it's less finger pointing, having to do with it could be towards a marriage, towards a job, towards anything that would be impacting your larger story. There's less finger pointing here and just more like very visceral recognition that something is just never going to be what it is that you want and that you're looking for. So one part of you is going to be experiencing that, while the other part of you is going to be in this wicked space of problem solving. Right? Just trying to figure out what is it that I could do, that I could adopt to give my life, myself, my situation a fresh path and a new perspective, because that is what that Mars energy is, right? So that's what's going on there. And then also Venus is going into Sagittarius in your 5th house. So a lot of you are going to be feeling very, very like romantic. A lot of you may be connecting with somebody maybe online from a foreign land, or falling in love or feeling very connected to somebody from a different culture or other than you. For some of you, it can have to do with that. Others of you, lots of beautiful energy for some sort of creative project. Because remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. That's that 9th house energy. And also this 5th house is trining that 9th house. Great energy for launching any sort of creative endeavor, putting yourself out there, publishing, advertising, marketing, putting yourself in a higher education program. So like this what's going on in your 3rd house and what's going on with Venus moving into Sag this week, I feel like a lot of you are going to be very hungry to learn something new, to level up your skill set. And it's going to be really, really beautiful for you. So, like everything else, there's some good, there's some challenges, whatever. But this Page of Pentacles definitely does indicate you're feeling like you're stepping into this new space in your life right now. And you're in right now this 2 of Cups energy. So you might be trying to have these really effective conversations with other people at work or people in relationship. This is a very mutually supportive connection, whatever it is, where there is it's like you're dealing with somebody where or at least you're wanting to have this conversation, right? This is where you're at, okay? For some of you, wanting to have a conversation to straighten something out. This could be as basic as you sitting down with a business partner or your boss or somebody at work and saying, okay, I think we need to figure out what changes need to go on, maybe with scheduling, maybe with salary. Because remember, you have, Pluto and Capricorn in your 6th house, and it's this week that Pluto is finally coming out of retrograde. It's finally stationing direct. So at the end of this week. So you're going to be feeling where you've been feeling a lot of tension and a lot of holdback when it comes to your daily work experience. You're going to be finally feeling some sort of movement forward, which is good. Even though Uranus is still retrograde in Taurus in that 10th house, everything that we're talking about there's going to be this kind of, in real time in your daily experience is going to be this moving forward because you're realizing things and you're pushing change. So this is you saying, yeah, I want change, but I want to sit down and have a really good open heart-to-heart conversation. Now, some of you maybe, again, because this does indicate new passion as well, new relationship if you're unattached. This could also indicate a very positive proposal coming in from a situation that you're involved in already. If things have been difficult, you're all about, bringing back the harmony, nurturing a relationship. You're all about it. But what is your challenge is the 3 of Cups. So it's like you might want that, but you also may feel like you're not getting the actual support that you need, that you're not able to actually create something in the way that you would like, that you're not able to heal from something in a way that feels right or good to you. And that could be really frustrating because it's like, you know what you need crystal clear, and you see it as being very viable, like a very doable thing, but it's you and someone else, and that someone else is not seeing the viability or the ease of it in the same way as you, and that could be really, really frustrating. So what you have is the basis of the situation here, the King of Cups, which does indicate to me that a need is existing here, to settle something, to settle a conflict, either within yourself about whatever situation is going on here. You know, maybe there's got to be recognition and acceptance, or there's got to be an understanding that maybe you need to strategize in a different way, or you have to settle a conflict with somebody else. Maybe a little bit of both, you know, within yourself and with somebody else. But this does also tell me that, excuse me, you may be a little unclear in how to actually handle it. You know, and the answer is always, you know, to follow your heart, but that's not always easy when you're not sure if the person that you're dealing with is in the same space, right? If they're going to be willing to meet you where you're at in order to bring the change that it is that you're looking for. So we have the Page of Wands, which is the current situation of what's going on right now. Page, again, is indicative of a new cycle. Wands are will, passion, motivation. You're in this space, Leo, where you really want to express yourself. Some of you are feeling very, very ready to meet a new relationship, to get into something new. Whether it's relationship, whether it's a job opportunity, whether it's a friendship, something new. You're very hungry to start something new. That's that Page of Wands energy, right? Now, for a lot of you, you may be getting some good news in about maybe a project that requires negotiation. This does indicate a very busy time at work. Busy time in your day-to-day life. You have absolutely, like with Pluto finally going direct, you can be very busy in that day-to-day experience. But this could bring a new offer, Leo. And this is the thing, whatever is offered to you, like if you're having a weird situation in a relationship, you guys sit down and talk about it, and this person that you're in the relationship with, whatever relationship, intimate, friendship, family connection, okay, well, this is what I can do for you. And you're like, oh, okay. You're still kind of interested, but it's not what you really wanted. It's not what you really expected. There's like this element of underwhelm, but you still feel a lot of this fire. So it's something that you just might want to, you know, be mindful of. Also, if this is like a new opportunity coming in with this Page of Wands, it's like that offer, the salary, whatever it is really not what you'd ultimately like or were really expecting. Again, but it still appeals to you in theory. And very clear message here of be careful to read the fine print before signing anything right now, especially because of where all this heavy energy is. Leos, more than any other sign, really do need to be careful of what's going on there, right? Only because you have the sun, which is that focus. You have Mercury in a house that is ruled by Mercury, and it's like a double retrograde going on for you. So just make sure that you read the fine print of everything. So we have the advice here is the Magician, which is great. This is about communication. You know, the Magician is Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini as well as Virgo. So it's having a communication to problem solve. So if this has to do with a relationship, this does indicate you focusing on as good communication as you could possibly muster or have, you know, with the person that you're dealing with. You know, some of you may be in this space just because of all this retrograde energy in the third house of communication. Spirit may be saying, reach out to that person that you haven't heard from in a long time, or that you haven't spoken to, or that you feel like there's some sort of unresolved issue. It's almost like there's something that's got to be discussed. And because of all of this Mercury retrograde in that third house, there may be this need to kind of have a little bit of a recursive approach where maybe you're calling that friend, you're calling that family member, maybe you're calling that sibling, right? Because the third house of siblings, extended family member, somebody that you knew once upon a time, right? Somebody that you had some sort of connection with, some sort of shared spiritual bond with, right, to call them. So some of you are going to be resonating with it like that. For others of you, it's a time to recognize that you're in a space in your life where you need to really incite a new beginning or direction having to do with career. You know, just moving on. For some of you, this is like, all right, this is exactly what you needed to get the thumbs up on. If you're in a space where you're like, should I sell my house? Yes. Right? This is the yes, sell your house kind of energy. as far as recommendation, you know. Time to sell a house, if that is a space that you're in. So now we have external to you, we have the King of Swords. So you're dealing with an energy who's very outwardly calm and very logical, and they're not really working their emotions into the situation, right? Because they feel like they can't. They feel like if they do, they're going to end up losing control over a situation. So they're trying to stay very sort of, you know, in the mental realm, right? This is like, it's a Capricorn and Aquarius energy. It's like very earth, air. Let's just talk about the future. Let's just focus, you know, and there's not a lot of warm fuzzies included in that. And that could be a little off-putting for you. So in your challenge, in your psychology right now, we have the Two of Wands energy. Two of Wands is a Mars and Aries energy. So this is a good card, but it's in your internal psychology as a block. So for a lot of you, you may be in this space where you're feeling like things are just falling apart, you know, things are falling through. You may actually be thinking a little too small for yourself, Leo. You may be not recognizing that what's available to you is so much bigger and better than where you're actually allowing yourself to go. But for many of you, you may be sitting with yourself, realizing that there are two aspects of a situation, whether it's two relationships, two jobs, two paths, two of something. And you're in this space where you know you need to figure out which is the best thing for you. Should you call that person from the past? Should you just be single? Should you go with that other person? Should you stay in this job? Should you start your business? Should you try to do both things at the same time? Should you call that family member? Two aspects, right? It can really, it could resonate with any part of your life here. Now, for some of you, the block could be also meeting somebody new. Maybe you're not ready to meet somebody new. It's like on the one hand, you very much want to, but there's something unresolved regarding a past relationship that you still need to work through. Others of you are meeting somebody new, right? A new romantic partner, maybe through work or friends, but there's something that is getting in the way of you feeling really excited and into the relationship, right? So, but it's like the two of Wands are very like forward movement, fresh path, new perspective, and that's where you're feeling a little held back psychologically. Not even in the 3D, but psychologically, where you might be getting in your own way because of fear, because of whatever. It could be a million things, but just something to think about, right? This is all food for thought, general messages, right? Take what resonates, throw out the rest. So then we have in the near future the Justice energy. So this is very 7th house. This is Libra, right? And what's going on in your 7th house? You have Jupiter, you have Saturn in Aquarius in your 7th house. So I feel like, with Venus moving into Sag in your 5th house, and this is sextiling that energy, I feel like a lot of you are going to be open to, and then this is if you are available, if your energy is available, very open to either, either healing, Mercury retrograde over here, Gemini, healing something within a serious relationship, healing something within some sort of business connection, any sort of, even anyone that you even have a soul contract with, maybe like a good friend or a family member, anything that has to do with contracts, anything that has to do with, this is a great energy, by the way, if you want to come out with something very creative in that 5th house. With this sextile to the 7th house also has to do with your clients, people that you service. It's all 7th house as well, so it would be very positively accepted. So that's really good that's going on, but the Justice energy again is about the scales, and it's about you sitting back regardless of the situation and you asking the big question: how do you feel in something? Do you feel like something is equitable? Are your emotional needs being met? This is a truth that's going to be coming out that you can't not see, and you're going to be very focused on balance here and finding some sort of win-win situation. And that's what's going to be happening here in the near future. Like, how do you really feel about something? Some of you may be experiencing a challenging situation that feels like a test in relationship, or even in having to do with career or money. And this energy, though, means that things are going to go well. They're going to go in your favor. Any kind of negotiation, any kind of interview, anything where there needs to be a very definitive meeting of the minds is going to end up voting in your favor. Any sort of legal issue, including like property matters, anything like that. Things are going to get resolved. If papers need to be signed, they will be. It's going to go in your favor. But you may feel like you don't have all the information. You're not totally sure of everything right now. And that's, that also has to do with the fact that Pisces and Neptune and Pisces is sitting in your 8th house. And that 8th house has to do with cycles, endings, and beginnings. It has to do with finalizing things and then starting something new. That 8th house, where there's a lot of confusion, is where we show up as a we in partnership, whether it's marriage or relationship or even a business partnership. Just not being sure, very smoke and mirrors, not being sure how you feel about something that's coming in. There's this lack of clarity, and there's also this sacrificial energy where you might feel like, all right, if I stay in this, I'm going to end up sacrificing what I want. Is that what I really want? I'm just not sure if we have the same belief systems. All right, this is you and somebody else. 8th house also has to do with inheritance, insurance payouts, settling up lawsuits. The 8th house is where the dollar amount is applied, or the final rolling out of the situation, the punishment, for lack of a better term, or the reward is rolled out in that 8th house. And you may be, Leo, if you're dealing with anything having to do with any of those things, an inheritance, insurance payout, settling up a divorce, settling up maybe the sale of something, buying and selling. 8th house also rules the stock market. Anything that's cyclical, communication between you and a partner, intimacy between you and a partner, you just might be like, I don't know. I'm really not sure how I feel. I don't feel happy, but I don't feel clear. So it could be like that kind of thing where you're sort of in between, but you're looking at what's fair and what's not fair. And the final outcome energy is the star, right? And the stars, this is Aquarius energy. In numerology, this is connected to the strength, which tells me that some situation that you're in can be very good for you, but there needs to be balance had. Whether somebody needs their ego stroked, could be somebody at work, somebody may need their mind opened up, so that they could see different perspectives, they could see the reality of what's going on, right? Could certainly be that, because this does indicate a change for the better after a difficult time. So, if it has to do with relationship, this could indicate you're very destined to be with somebody. So if you're not in a connection right now, or if there's no one else in your energy, Leo, it's time to open up those gates and let somebody in. It's time to find that soul connection. It's like, it's not a good energy to be alone anymore. Just to let somebody in. If you have somebody in your life right now, really look very closely. Where are you feeling energetically pulled? And the reason I'm saying it like that is because I do know a lot of Leos are dealing with a couple of different energies when it comes to relationships, when it comes to jobs. I know that this is what's going on. It's sort of this very two-tracked kind of space. So where are you feeling the most energetically pulled? If this has to do more like career or money, this is awesome. This is very much a money luck energy. So whatever's being negotiated here, it's bringing a big payoff here. And it's because you've considered your long-term goals, you're prioritizing well. Some of you may be guided to begin a new business, or you find out that you have this awesome hidden talent that now you could put to good use to make some money. But whatever it is, if it has to do with money and career, this is like your star is rising. So this is really good. So relationships could be a little trippy, but if it has to do with career or money, it seems like it's pretty good. Fool, right? Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Uranus energy, right? Uranus is hanging in your 10th house of your long-term goals. This is your being pushed here for a fresh path, a new perspective, something new. So this is not to say that if you're resonating with it up to this point in relationship that you're going to end up breaking up or getting a divorce, but it does indicate that if you're going to end up staying in this, things need to be done differently than before. They need to be done differently. And what more specifically, like the minutia of something needs to be worked out. You can't get tripped up on the, you spoke to me funny, or you didn't call me in time, or you said you wanted to do this and now you want to do this. I don't want to be in this anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's almost getting caught up in the weeds of something. So the Fool says, all right, you got to go with the flow and you have to do things differently. For some of you, those of you who are feeling like you are just energetically clashing with this person, to no end, you're going to feel a shift. I'm not suggesting that you go in and you break up with anybody right now, but you're going to feel this very definitive shift where you're going to want to get into a new relationship. Your instincts are going to be very heightened right now, and you're going to be all about a new beginning. So if you feel like you're dealing with an energy that's not on that same page with you, it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain that course with them. Eight of Wands is really good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. This is awesome if you've been feeling held back or stuck waiting for a decision. I'm going to say especially in that 6th house, having to do with work, having to do with anything regarding your health, anything like that. Very good news for growth coming in. I'm only saying that because Pluto is going to be going direct this week for you guys. So I do like that. Excellent energy about love, especially if you've been separated. And then we have the Ace of Cups, guys. This is like love and key emotional events. This has to do with fertility, pregnancy, prioritizing parenting. If that's been an issue, this is an energy of falling in love. This is an energy of spiritual growth. Very creative card as well. Something that matters a lot to you is finally going to come to fruition. So I really do like that. So some of you have been working on like maybe trying to get pregnant. Yeah, and especially with that Venus, that Venusian energy is the Empress energy. It's going from the 4th house into the 5th house, guys. So honestly, the 4th house is mothering, the 5th house rules kids. So Leo, if you are in this space where you're trying to get pregnant, I think this is a very nice energy, especially as the 5th house opposes the 11th, which is where the Geminian North Node is, which is preparing to leave us a nice little gift by the end of this year. But that is being clarified by the 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords is about anxiety and overwhelm, and is this the right thing for me? I'm not sure. It's almost like be careful what you wish for kind of thing. Some of you may be having a hard time sleeping, with this energy. You might be feeling kind of depressed about something maybe going differently than you had really wanted. You might not be responding very well to the external stress of something, and it's because you're just not really clear. It's like there's this new beginning, but you're really not clear in how you feel about it. So some of you may be in this space where it's like you really want to get pregnant, and then once it happens, it's like you're not sure if you want to be in that relationship anymore. You're not sure how you're feeling. Do you know what I mean? Or that new job or that new situation, whatever it is, somebody proposes marriage to you, you're getting into this new relationship, and it's this new chapter is upon you, but you're sitting back going, yeah, but I don't know if I really want that or that or that. I want that, but I don't think I want that kind of thing, So clarifying that, we have the King of Wands. King of Wands is about this being a time where, first of all, you're going to be feeling very strong within you, where you want to be a free spirit. You want to be able to speak your mind. You want to be heard. I mean, absolutely. With this Cazimi with Mars Cazimi in the 3rd house, you're going to feel so energized for your voice to be heard, and so frustrated if somebody is not hearing you. So you don't want to express your ideas, go after what you want. But this is the thing here, Leo. Don't allow perfectionism to get in the way. You bring everything that you need to the table. It's going to be well received. You're going to be heard. It's just a matter of how you say something. So just make sure that you send everything through your filter before executing any sort of proclamation or sharing how you're feeling about something, especially if you're sharing, right, this 9 of Swords energy, that you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling worried, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not, you may be even feeling depressed, but you need to talk about this, right? There is this need to actually execute and communicate whatever is there. We have the 8 of Pentacles, and then we have the 10 of Swords. Wow. Okay. The 8 of Pentacles is about mastery, focusing on responsibilities, being very diligent and hardworking in everything that you have working in your life right now, right? For some of you, this can indicate money or some sort of connection is on its way to you as a result of previous efforts that you've put out there. This is an opportunity to further your education, which I know, as I said, because of all this energy in your 3rd house, and also with the 9th house. Right now you have Chiron in Aries. It's still retrograde until the end of the year. So this is an excellent energy. 9th house rules higher education. 3rd house rules learning something new. So some of you may be in that space where you're like, you know what, I want to better myself. I want to learn something new. But you're going to have to really sort of embrace this logical and diligent approach to whatever it is that you are focusing on. But it's sort of like as you're approaching this element, this energy of saying, I really want to work on myself, I want to master something, I want to better myself, I want to better this area of my life, that's being clarified by the Ten of Swords. And this indicates an ending, and where there was a history here. And it's the finality and the release of something that releases you from frustration, from stress, even if it's painful. This is the end of a really difficult time period. So now you're free energetically to transform into a healthier energy with fresh eyes and a new mindset, especially if you've been feeling like very, very held back. King of Wands energy, the other version, right? This comes in a male and a female version. So very interesting. We have two of them here. We have the male and the female. So it's two sides of something, expressing self. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is you exercising your high standards. This is you being very self-aware. But again, this idea of perfectionism, Leo. Don't worry if something isn't perfect. You don't have to be perfect, and neither does somebody else. But you want to be careful that you're not comparing a person, a situation, a job to something from the past, where you're trying to align how your experience in something in the past with something that's in the present, where you're trying to bring your experience with that person or that situation up to the exacting standards, right, of what you experienced in the past. And we have the Judgment energy. Yeah, I just feel like the past is something absolutely that is a thing for you, especially in that very mental house of the third house, very mental. And that's where all this energy is happening for you. You know, this is a Pluto energy, endings and beginnings. This is associated in numerology with the High Priestess and the Justice energy. So this is all about assessment and letting go of the past and making a decision about the past and spiritually waking up. Some of you are going to be feeling very, very pulled to reach out to somebody who you were once in a relationship with, if you decide that it's worth trying again. You know, for some of you, an old friend may reappear, something like that. If this has to do with career or money, this is acknowledgement for your success coming in, finances getting better. For others of you, this is just straight up making a decision about a property. Especially a property that either you've lived in for a long time, or maybe a family property, or something where there's a strong history in your life to a property. Making a decision about that. And then we have the Hierophant energy, which is about, it's a marriage card, of course, you know, and a committed partnership kind of thing, and celebrating the sacred in your relationship. It's that. But it's also feeling very connected to tradition, to emotional development. But there's this highlight on what's expected of you within a situation, what you expect from other regarding a situation, right? If this has to do with career or money, this is about progress forward in work, decision making, your direction, right? And you might be dealing with some sort of maybe a mentor or a boss or a colleague, somebody who's more knowing than you in a particular area, where they're going to have a very beneficial effect on you. So it's very interesting because I'm getting like these two tracks of energies here. Three of Swords has to do with pain, a card of pain, heartbreak, pain of a truth. You might be feeling a little depressed, but the thing is, the lights come on here, right? The doubt is going to be gone. Confusion's going to be gone. You're going to be in a position where it's like, all right, now I just need to move on, right? And deal with the pain, deal with the shock, deal with the disappointment, deal with whatever it is, so that you could start some real healing, and you've learned your lesson. I mean, there's no question, lesson learned. World is the best card in the deck because it is just that. It's completion of a really important lesson that you needed to learn. You're achieving your goals here, right? If this has to do with career or money, this is a promotion. This is some sort of rising status, right? If this has to do with relationship, you're finally moving into a space of happiness because you've learned this lesson. I mean, to have the world clarifying the Three of Swords, some sort of truth has come out where you've learned your lesson, and now it's just time to move on. So there's going to be this very clear, definitive understanding of what's not working, and you taking that lesson and saying, okay, I'm going to move forward doing different. I'm do different this time. Okay. So let's see what we have for relationships for our Leo friends. So I'm just going to pull a past, present, future, and final outcome, see what comes up, and I'm going to pull clarifiers for them. Past, present. Oh, you get the world in the present. Okay. Some of you are just going to be like, you know what, I'm not only am I ending that relationship because it's, you know, a lot of you are going to be saying because it's not good for me. I'm using my mind here. I really just want to be free. I need to move. I'm destined to move because I'm feeling a sense of lack, and I really just want to get into a new relationship. Some of you are going to be feeling that. Others of you, you're recognizing the toxicity in something in the past, and you're using your mind, you're relying on your intelligence, right? Some sort of useful information is coming into you, either from your partner, from somebody else, and you're just like, okay, I need to sit back and I need to really be very sort of in my mental realm right now as I start this new cycle. Because this Chariot is really, this follows the Tower. Chariot follows the Tower, right? Mars is the Tower, right? Mars comes in and picks us up after the Tower moment and puts us on the Chariot, which is Cancer energy, and sends us on our way to a metaphorical home space. So it's this very expedited energy that something happened really quickly, and you're like, already, I can't like deal with that anymore. For some reason, you needed to say no to something within a relationship in the recent past. But whatever it is, it's like you're learning your lesson, right? Again, the world energy is all about being very focused on your happiness right now. And that's being clarified because of lessons that you've learned. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Again, it is about, you know, firing up your ambition, really wanting to express yourself, be free. But this does indicate events speeding up, blocks being lifted, decisions coming in, right? Especially if you've been feeling very sort of held back. So this is actually a nice energy here in the near future. Now we have, because you know what it is? It's almost like, it's like the truth is so illuminated that you can't not see it. You could try to skirt it along, but you're seeing the reality of something. And in the near future, we have the Star, which is clarified by the Death energy. So for some of you, it's like you're meant to move in with somebody, or you're meant to move to be with somebody. The Star, death could mean moving, especially if you're in like a long distance relationship. It's like, that's it. I don't want to have this long distance relationship anymore. I'm going to move to be closer to you, or I'm going to move out of where I am because I want to be with you. I'm going to move out of where I am right now with this partner so that I could be with you. Some of you are going to be experiencing that, okay? I'm just going to give the different interpretations of that. Now, the Star, very destiny-driven energy. This is Aquarius, very focused on the future. It's ruled by Uranus. So things could be happening very sort of quickly, very fast. Some sort of gift is going to be coming in again. In your Aquarius energy, which would be your 11th house, you have that Geminian North Node. Some sort of beautiful gift is going to be happening here. This is also the Strength card in numerology, which does indicate there needs to be some sort of balance had in order for you to have this change for the better after what maybe has been a difficult time. Yes. But this also indicates you're destined to be with somebody. You're destined. This is like a very, like, you could try to say no to something. It's like you're meant to be with somebody. So there's got to be this like offer to move. It's like, come on, move in with me, or I'm going to move in to be with you, or move. Okay, that's for some of you. For others of you, it's feeling like destiny's at play. You have to end whatever you're in order to move into something else, or you're feeling very strongly like you can't stay in whatever it is that you're staying in. And if you and this person are going to last at any point in time, there needs to be a breather right now. There's got to be some sort of pulling away, some sort of period of self-reflection away from each other if you guys are ever going to really work it out. But I feel like there is change here, and it's very destiny driven in this near future. Now the final outcome, we have the Five of Pentacles being clarified by the Fool. And again, the Fool is new. right? It's new. It's a Uranus energy. So it's about instinct, you paying attention to your instincts and you taking a risk, you creating some sort of new beginning for yourself. So this could be a new relationship. This could be a new approach to doing something differently, right? Within the relationship that you're in. But how are the different ways that this can manifest? Five of Pentacles, a very psychological card where you're feeling this lack of connection. Now, for some of you, it might be a lack of money. This could be a testing of resources where financial issues are a thing and you are connection and you're in the space of trying to figure out this feeling of lack that you may have. Like, you guys might be making money, you might be fine, but there's a lack mentality. It's like not enough. Because you're fearing not having enough. You're fearing this loss of security. So some of you may be in that space and you're like, okay, if money's a thing in this relationship, then I'm actually going to try maybe a new job, or I'm going to try to see my way forward in this way. If it doesn't have anything to do with money, the Five of Pentacles doesn't also indicate there's a lack of connection. Pain in the aftermath of a breakup, pain in the aftermath of feeling something gone wrong, and you just feel this lack of support, right? And the Fool is, all right, you're feeling this lack of support, it's time to meet somebody new. Or you're feeling this lack of support, it's time to try a different strategy. It's problem solving for you. But I feel like these two are very important here. Super important. We have the Witch, okay. The word wants to be written. Oh my gosh, so that has to do with the third house. Something needs to be spoken here. Absolutely. Accept disappointments gracefully. Don't do anything. Time for a nap. Well, that's just the energy anyway. Until everything goes direct, while Mercury's retrograde, probably not the best energy to execute whatever's on your mind to do, right? How I was mentioning, you're going to be feeling the need to make change. You're going to be solidifying what doesn't feel right. Like, let that all marinate for the next few weeks. Kind of let Mercury go direct. Mercury's going direct the third week in October, but it won't be at a post shadow to the beginning of November. So, we have first card up here. We have Witch, which is the magic you seek is inside of you. Let it flow. So you know the answer. You already know the answer to everything. The word wants to be written, which means that the word also needs to be spoken. You need to communicate something. You can't keep it inside of you right now. Accept whatever disappointment that you're dealing with right now in your life. Deal with it with grace, but don't act on anything just yet. Not just yet. Not just yet. I feel like a lot's going on here in the realm of relationship for you, Leo. Lots of underneath the surface stuff, lots of stuff going on in the 3Ds, a lot of holding back from you, a lot of desire for other or otherness, not necessarily another person, but to be in something that's more than what you're in. You may be feeling very frustrated because whatever situation you're in is not bringing you what it is that you really want. But yet you're feeling held back and like cutting the cord or allowing something to just go. And that's what I'm getting here from these cards. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way for this first week of October. You guys have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.